All right, we're live. Man, did we need that win? Statement win, point taken. I think Hurley and his boys are back. Let's talk about it on the Who's Got.
Let's get it, 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 let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.
I don't know if I can hear you guys. Hang on. If you guys can hear me, do me a favor and if you guys can hear me, can you guys comment in the? There we go. I think we're good. You guys hear me? Can someone comment and tell me that you guys can hear me in the comments over here? All right, we're good. All right, so thanks, Brandon. Yeah, sorry about that. I think a little technical difficulties. I changed out mics, and I guess I didn't check it beforehand, but that's life. Today's episode is sponsored by Vancord locally and by Home Field Apparel. By the way, Home Field Apparel getting a major plug from Jeremy Lamb courtside, rocking a freaking amazing coach's jacket there. Really cool. Love that when Andy Katz was doing the interview with Kemba. Thanks, guys. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, Home Field Apparel, home of the best premium vintage collegiate gear in the game, and locally by Vancord, your premium partner for comprehensive cybersecurity and data protection. The Big East never rests, and neither do we. Let's get into what happened in this game. UConn completes the season sweep of Villanova with a 73-63 statement win after Hurley called his defense a joke. I would say about 95% of this game, the defense was not a joke. The Huskies answered the bell after just an absolute rough situation in Gamble. They moved to 15-2 in the Big East, 25-3 overall. They now own the tiebreaker over the Wildcats if there was ever a three-way tie. It felt closer than 10 for most of the game, but then that second half really showed the gap between UConn and Villanova from a perspective of talent. And then on top of it, look, this UConn team is 100% when they play to the level of their ability. They can beat anyone. It's just been this whole month, and I don't come on these shows to be like, I love being right. Like, I don't care about being right. I care about UConn winning. But I'm also not going to come on here and say it's all sunshines and rainbows when their own coach has been saying that he feels like he's mismanaged this roster to a certain extent. He just said it at the end of the game on TNT. I don't know if you heard that he feels like he has given up on some of the bench guys like Jay Ross and Jay Stu. And, that's kind of led to some of the issues that they've had. And I don't disagree with Dan. Like, I think there's a part of him where his own loyalty and his own inability to kind of see that stuff has really clouded some judgment. But that's okay, because you want to know why? Because he's self-aware. He's not stubborn in that respect. I thought Jay Stu and Jay Ross reestablished the fact that they are premier players on this team. And, I think that there's a really good opportunity for this team to kind of right the ship. And if they beat St. John's on Wednesday in Hartford, it's an entirely different ballgame. Like, they're still in the running for a 1 seed. And even if they don't get a 1 seed, a 2 seed in the East or a 2 seed anywhere in this tournament is fine. 1s and 2s, that's where you want to be. Oh man, I don't care. I'll yawn away. I've been hanging out with my kids all day, and they are an exhausting bunch. Anyway, I'm gonna put the link in the in the chat. I'd love for you guys to jump on, because I am so spent, man. I've spent all day like watching kids waiting for my wife to get back from work, and then I just kind of wrote notes down for this game. But I want the fans to carry this show if it's all good. But what I will tell you is, the defense is really kind of what makes me feel really good about this team, because I feel like offensively, there's an opportunity for this team to eventually, get better and better. I would love for them to run their offense, the way football teams run offenses through kind of, if they're a running team, they pass first. If they're a passing team, they run first. Like, I feel like there's got to be some kind of a better mix of, in terms of, like, this team is really good with ball movement and they're really good with 3-point shooting. However, Terrace Reed showed today offensively that he is one of the best big men in the game when you kind of set him up and you give him an opportunity to kind of see what kind of player he is. I think his footwork is fantastic. And so, to me, did they do an F Dan Hurley chant? I honestly, when I watch games, guys, I typically watch them with no sound, because I just watch the back and forth, and then I take notes and whatever. I don't like to listen to the commentary. I think it clouds my judgment in terms of, like, the game, and, like, if the team, if what my thoughts are versus, say, Grant Hills or whoever was doing the game. So yeah. I don't know. The other thing I'm kind of watching on the side here is Duke and Michigan game is pretty interesting. I think this Duke team is better than people are giving them credit for, including myself, because I'm a Duke hater. Like, I 1,000% will say that I'm a Duke hater. Like, right there, this play, they just blatantly don't call a hook on Cameron Boozer. I won't lie to you, man. I love having Braylon Mullins, but I want Dan Hurley to get one of these freshmen that gets these freshman whistles, kind of like AJ DeBonsa or Darren Peterson, because the Mullins gets no whistles. Like, I don't know if it's the Dan Hurley effect or whatnot, but anyway. Oh, Davo, Michigan's not good. Stop it. Come on, bro. Jesus Christ, man. Like, I love you, man, and you've been on this show before, like, in terms of that, but, like, to sit there and tell me that Michigan isn't that good. They're playing a neutral site game against what's the number 2 or 3 team in the country, according to some folks, and they've been 25-1. What's that? I did say Miami was trash, and they are. Just because you make the tournament doesn't mean you're good. Please, man. Who cares about being a tournament team? What does that mean? You make the tournament? Whatever. Stop it. God, I fucking hate that shit, man. It's like, do you want a participation trophy? Stop it. Anyway, the bench looked great. I love Dan Hurley sticking with Jay Ross and Jay Stu no matter what. All I'm saying is I think these Duke and Michigan teams are legit. Both. I think Michigan will end up winning this game. UConn and Nova have won 6 of the last 13. I think it's 5 of the last 12, to be honest with you. Iowa State is very good. I don't sound crazy, dude. Like, making the NCAA tournament is not a big accomplishment. It's just not, dude. It's just not. Like, they are in the ACC. The ACC always gets love. North Carolina should not have made the tournament last year. Guess what? They made the tournament. It's a joke. Come on, man. If Miami, I'll tell you what, Ghostface, if Miami wins a game in the NCAA tournament, I will come on here and say that they're not trash. But if you're just in the tournament and you are losing the first round, which they likely will, that you're trash. If you're one of the top 32 teams in the country, okay. But if you're not, just get out of here. Get out of here with that. Trash. I don't know if you have kids, but Toy Story 4, trash. That's all I think of when I say that. But I'm saying, like, for real, if you're a top 32 team in the country, I would say you're not trash. But I do not think they end up winning a first round game. That's my thoughts. Also, listen, I'm biased with this stuff. Look, Cincinnati, I hated Cincinnati forever. And then one of my friends gets a job there as the head coach. And he hasn't been successful. Wes Miller has been very underwhelming as a coach. And but that team that you watch beat up Kansas today is pretty damn good. And if they can score, just watch out for that team making a run. That's all I'm saying. Back to regular scheduled programming. Yeah, I think the turnovers tonight were less, obviously, in the second half. But I think it's like one of those things where as soon as this team stops kicking themselves in the foot, shooting themselves in the foot, they just don't. They just look so good. They look like a team that can beat anyone. I will tell you this. The one thing that I don't want to use as a crutch is the idea that you can somehow turn it on in March just because other teams in UConn lore have, or even teams from a couple years ago. Because the idea that you can automatically just say, hey, well, we get a different whistle in March. All right. It doesn't matter. Also not true. Also not true. I don't think that's true at all. I think if you put Miami in the Big East, they'd get pushed around. Just because you have more talent, the ACC is not a good conference. I'm sorry. Anyway. Just got to work on valuing possession. That's my biggest thing. That's all I want UConn to do. Just value possession. Do you guys remember that West Virginia team a long time ago that was in the Big East that had like Kevin Pittsnoggle and all these guys, John Beeline's teams? They valued possession. They didn't turn the ball over. So then, because they were a good three-point shooting team, they obviously ended up winning a lot of games. I think they made it to the Elite Eight. So my biggest thing is like you just can't continue to turn the ball over at the level that they do and then expect to win just because you're in the NCAA tournament and you're getting a different whistle. Like that to me isn't a thing. And I love Silas. He's my favorite favorite player on this team right now. But I need him to be the closer, and I don't need him to feel like he has to defer to anybody. He just shouldn't. All right, guys. Who's coming on the show? Because your boy is tired. I've worked all day. What you got, Bly Guy? It wasn't a blowout. Just because they were up 20 doesn't mean that it was a blowout. They didn't – listen, the day this team can actually finish a blowout is one I will acquiesce to. I won 2 bets on this game at plus 10.5, luckily, that last minute layup, and plus 13.5 because I know UConn, and UConn does not hold leads. They just don't. This team is not the teams of the past. Teams of the past would take a 20-point lead and push it to 30 and then maybe win by like 19, 21, something like that. This team is not that team. That was a convincing win. That wasn't a blowout. Splitting hairs, but that's just how I think. All right, boys and girls. I'm going to take 5 more minutes. I'm exhausted, and no one's coming on the show. So I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time. And if anyone wants to give me their thoughts, I will entertain having people on. But if you guys don't want to do that, then this will be a very short live reaction show, and that's okay. Yeah, man, I agree with that. I didn't sweat down the stretch, but I also know who this team is, and I don't think any lead is ever safe. Steve, yeah, I mean, I guess I do think that they are, but they just haven't proved it. I think that their bones are there. I just think that the urgency, the killer instinct still isn't really there. You saw it for stretches, but then it's like, we're just gonna like chill. I just don't think that the team is. You heard Dan today. Jamal Mashburn said, I think I like your team. I think it's pretty good. He goes, I don't think so. I know that's coach speak, but it's the truth, man. Like, I don't think anyone should really like fall in love with this team other than that they're really good people. But this team has major holes, major flaws, and they're going to win some games. And if they can beat St. John's, then and get in a really good favorable draw, it's all going to be matchup based for UConn. If they play some big teams that can really manhandle them, they're going to have a really hard time going forward. All right, boys and girls, no one wants to come on. It's all good. Listen, have a great weekend. If you're noticing something on the Hoops Cap lately, is I've been putting out about 2 different types of shows, which is like the full show and a truncated 10-minute version or 9-minute version that's like a highlights or compressed, best of, so to speak. This show will air again at 7 a.m., like probably a 7.5 minute version of it on Monday morning at 7 a.m. And other than that, just keep looking for shows during the week. There's usually 4 to 5 during the week with live reactions as well. And like I said, you don't want to see me yawn through this entire show. I'm literally spent from that perspective. Yeah, I listen. My last comment. Where's Davo? Where's that Steve? Yeah, I still feel like they can amuse. Yeah, I'm with Steve on this one. I didn't think pre-Creighton, even that game, that UConn was a Final Four team. Even though for most of the year I've been saying that they're Final Four caliber, it's been difficult to say that they have been over the last. I think tonight proved that they can be. Let's just put it that way. All right, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys next time on the Hoops Cap. Roll skis.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions.